In this presentation, I'll be exploring the grammar of games, a framework that helps us understand the underlying structures and logics that make games work. Just as language has grammar, rules and patterns that make communication meaningful, games have their own grammar that makes play meaningful. This grammar consists of a set of interrelated concepts that explain how players move, think, and interact within the game environment. The framework includes 6 key concepts: space, time, force, rules, relationships, and tactics. By analysing these concepts and their sub-concepts, we can gain a deeper understanding of how players interpret situations, how they make own decisions, and how games create dynamic learning experiences. In this presentation, I'll use the modified game 9 Squares to illustrate each of these concepts in action. This game provides a simple yet rich context for exploring how players respond to the constraints, opportunities, and patterns that define all types of games, from invasion and net wall games to striking and target activities. What is the grammar of games? The grammar of games is an analytical tool that allows teachers, coaches, and players to deconstruct what's happening in any game. The grammar of games helps us identify what players must perceive, interpret, and act upon in order to be successful. It also provides a common language for analysing games, focusing on how different elements interact to create patterns of play, tactical problems, and learning opportunities. The 6 core concepts, space, time, force, rules, relationships, and tactics, do not exist separately. Instead, they constantly interact to shape how the game unfolds and how players experience it. Let's look at each concept in detail using 9 Squares as a lens. Space. The first concept is space, one of the most fundamental elements in any game. The sub-concepts of space include location, area movement, direction, shape, and boundaries. In 9 Squares, each player occupies a defined area, a square, but the boundaries are dynamic because the players move in and out as the game evolves. Players must constantly perceive where open space exists, when they become available, and how to move efficiently to exploit them. The manipulation of space creates opportunities for passes, interceptions, and transitions. This awareness of spatial dynamics is transferable across all game types. In invasion games like basketball or netball, for example, players use similar principles to create and deny space. Understanding spatial relationships develops players' ability to read the game, a key aspect of tactical literacy. The second concept is time, the tempo and rhythm of play. In 9 Squares, time is constantly pressured. Players must react quickly to a moving ball, anticipate where it will go, and coordinate their movements in synchrony with others. The pacing of the game, how quickly players move or pass, changes the strategic and emotional feel to the play. When players control the tempo, they can slow down to maintain possession, or accelerate to exploit an opening. Developing temporal awareness helps learners understand that timing is as important as technique. Across different game categories, this sense of rhythm supports anticipation, reaction time, and the ability to coordinate with teammates. The third concept is force, which involves how players control and apply physical energy during movement. The sub-concepts of force are power, control, accuracy, direction, and coordination. In 9 squares, the ball's movement depends entirely on the way players apply force. Too much power might push the ball out of play, while too little might make it easy to intercept. Players learn to adjust force based on their target's distance, position, readiness, and readiness to receive. This is not only about muscle strength, it's about sensitivity and awareness. The game therefore encourages players to connect perception and execution, developing control and precision. These principles apply across all physical activities, whether striking a ball, passing, or throwing. The efficient use of force shapes performance outcomes. The fourth concept, rules, defines the structure and limits of the game. The sub-concepts of rules include boundaries, constraints, objectives, and penalties. Rules are what turn random activity into meaningful play. They establish the parameters within which decisions and actions occur. In 9 squares, players must stay within certain boundaries, follow passing rules, and respect time restrictions. These constraints influence behaviour. Players learn to problem solve within the structure provided. From a pedagogical perspective, manipulating rules allows teachers to guide learning. For example, reducing the number of touches can encourage quicker decision-making or greater teamwork. Rules are therefore not just regulatory, they are instructional tools that shape the tactical and cognitive focus of the activity. The fifth concept, relationships, focuses on interactions among players. The sub-concepts of relationships are cooperation, communication, opposition, and anticipation of others. In 9 squares, relationships shift constantly. Players cooperate with teammates to maintain flow while opposing others to gain advantage. Successful play depends on effective communication, verbal cues like calling for the ball, and non-verbal cues such as eye contact or positioning. Players must also interpret opponents' intentions, predicting their next move. These rational dynamics foster social understanding, recognizing how others' movements influence one's own decisions. In the classroom, focusing on relationships helps build teamwork, inclusion, and empathy, key learning outcomes in health and physical education. The sixth concept, tactics, refers to the strategic patterns and reasoning that guide action. The sub-concepts of tactics include strategy, adaptability, pattern recognition, and problem solving. In 9 Squares, tactics emerge as players learn when and where to move, how to create open channels, and how to sustain possession. These decisions are not random. They reflect players' growing understanding of cause and effect in gameplay. As players recognize patterns, they begin to anticipate what will happen next and adapt accordingly. This tactical awareness represents higher order thinking, connecting perception, movement, and analysis. Teaching through games like 9 Squares provides learners with a safe and simplified environment to experiment with these ideas, encouraging creativity and adaptive thinking. Interconnection of concepts. Although we can discuss each concept individually, the real power of the grammar of games lies in how they interconnect. In any game moment, players simultaneously interpret space, manage time, adjust force, respect rules, read relationships, and employ tactics. These concepts form an interactive web that shapes every movement and decision. For example, a player's choice of pass depends on available space, timing, force, relationships, rules, and tactics. This holistic view reinforces that playing well isn't about isolated skills. It's about understanding the game system as a whole. When teachers help students see these interconnections, they promote deep learning and transferability across multiple physical contexts. Pedagogical application. Applying the grammar of games in teaching aligns closely with the game sense approach, which prioritizes understanding and thinking in action. Rather than focusing only on drills, teachers can use modified games like 9 Squares to highlight specific concepts. For example, shrinking the space to emphasize time, pressure, or changing rules to encourage teamwork. Some guided questioning supports this process. For example, how did the space influence your movement? What timing worked best for your team? How did changing the rule affect your tactics? These questions promote reflection. Students begin to articulate why certain strategies work and how different elements interact. Over time, this builds game literacy, the capacity to understand, adapt, and create meaning in any game context. To conclude, the grammar of games offers a powerful framework for analysing and teaching through play. By examining games through the 6 interconnected concepts: space, time, force, rules, relationships, and tactics, we gain insight into the complex interactions that shape movement, strategy, and learning. Using a simple game like 9 Squares reveals how even small variations in rules, space, or timing can profoundly change the nature of the play. For learners, understanding these patterns develops not only physical skills, but also cognitive, social, and emotional awareness. Ultimately, the grammar of games helps us appreciate that games are not just activities. They are dynamic systems of interaction, meaning, and understanding. By teaching with this lens, we empower students to become thoughtful, adaptable, and intelligent movers, capable of applying their learning beyond any single game.